10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, Monday Morning Racer here. This is the Competition Plus Power Hour. Yeah, we go over sometimes, but that's just even better. That's more power for the world of drag racing and what's going on. Tonight, we're going to talk some PDRA. We're going to talk some NHRA. We're just going to talk drag racing along with you. So get into the comment section. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the share button as well and let people know about Competition Plus Power Hour. Later on, we'll have Bill Bader Jr. on as our guest. It is not just me, though, tonight. Also on is my co-host, Slammin Sam. Sam, where do you come from tonight?
Hey, I hail from San Diego, California. I'm 5 minutes away from the football stadium of the team that doesn't exist in San Diego anymore. It's kind of amazing, as I am a Raiders fan. But what's up, drag racing fans? You were on the show Competition Plus Power Hour and maybe Power Hour and a half. I know my background looks a little bit different, as Lee and I just stated. I am in the beautiful state of California right now, rapidly approaching the 4-wide, the Denso Spark Plug, the NHRA National 4-wide in Vegas. I'm already here. I'm already on vacation, and I am ready to see some good drag racing. Actually, Lee, and I want to see your face when I say this, as I was driving down from Vegas and LA, I went from Vegas to LA, and then this morning, LA to San Diego. Guess what I was listening to? I was listening back to a couple of our episodes, the Competition Plus Power Hour, while I was cruising down the 405 and the 5 and all that. I was listening back to some of our good episodes on Apple Podcast, on my phone, connected it to the rental. I can listen back. And that's what all you guys out there, you guys and you girls should do, is go back, listen to some of these great episodes of the Competition Plus Power Hour, where we bring you all the good information that you can believe, because it's on Competition Plus. Trust me, none of you guys want to get hit the way I did. We had the man, the myth, the legend, and I'm not going to say his name because I get scared every time I hear it and my eye starts to hurt. But yes, Competition Plus, where you can believe what you read. Lee, what is going on? You were down at the PDRA opener. How was that for you, man? Let's just start right there.
The East Coast Nationals, presented by Fuel Tech, was great. Correct. It was great. Look, it was there was a spectacular crowd. When you look back last year, Galot, season opener for PDRA, under COVID restrictions, there were no fans. It was just racers and media. And now to have fans back in the stands for the season opener at Galot, it was a good show. A lot of good drag racing action. Cars rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. Full day of drag racing. So you got your worth as a drag racing fan for like a $25 ticket. Let's kick it off with this, man. I'm sure you've seen it. We're going to show it right now again. But there was a major incident in round 1 of Pro Nitrous. John Hall had a wreck. I've got footage of it. Folks, though, make sure, go to Competition Plus Facebook page, and Roger Richards, Competition Plus photographer, he got a great set of shots, sequence, snap, 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 snap of this incident at Galot Motorsports Park. But here's my footage that you can also see on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. Let's look at it, Sam.
Everybody stay off the bottom area. Going to it right now.
So, Sam, John Hall was all right, but as you can see, that brand new Pro Mod was destroyed.
You know, and it's weird because last week on the show we talked about the flying cars and everything that happens at duck races, but you and I kind of talked about it, you know, here before. Is a lot of people say, you know, well, what can we do to change this? But these cars kind of remind me, and like you mentioned, a stock car in circle track racing, how once they get sideways, you know, it's a tumble effect. Glad to see he's okay. You know, unfortunate, you know, especially first race out, brand new car. You never want to see that. You never want someone's season to start like that. But the positive is the safety part of that. And that's something that I preach with my business, Mad Bro Motorsports, Outlaw Performance ENT. All that is we want these drivers and the family men and women that are in these cars that risk their life day in, day out, every time they strap into to walk away from these events, these crashes, you know, safely. And he did. So just super happy about that, but definitely hate to see someone start their season off this way.
Tough way for John Hall to start his season. Not sure when we'll see him again. He had been out of Pro Mod racing for about 3 years, from what I understand. And it's not like that was his first pass down the strip, but he stayed in it. And look, in moments like this, Sam, I think it's hard to dissect, oh, this is what happened. I've had folks chime in on my YouTube channel with this footage. Oh, it looks like the front end was being carried for a ways, and then it dropped, and he was able to drive the car. Oh, this was driver error. Maybe it was. Oh, maybe a throttle stuck. Who knows what happened? I rather like to look at these situations and ask, what can we do to prevent something like this? We're not going to prevent crashes. We're not going to prevent wrecks. That's a part of motorsports. But I'm definitely concerned about a car going over the wall, clearing the wall entirely, and barrel rolling, hitting a scoreboard. If it had not hit the scoreboard, where would it have actually wound up as a racing machine? So there's a lot to dissect, I think, afterwards.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and that's a good thing too, is, you know, you get these comments of people saying, well, the scoreboard should never be that close, you know, on any of these tracks. I get that, I understand that, but remember, this drag strip is made and primarily set up as an 8th mile drag strip. So remember that. These scoreboards, you know, like you and I talked before, are beyond the 8th mile. If that scoreboard was not there, where would that car have been? You saw, if you see the videos, you know, I watched it live and then you watch it back and you see these videos, you know, like you caught and Flow Racing and the pictures. If that scoreboard did not give that car that halt at that moment, there was 4 guys standing right by the fence that backed up, that would have hit RVs and continue to, you know, potentially wreck things. And yes, we can sit back and now look at it and dissect things. There's a lot safety things that we can probably say too. Why wasn't there this? Why wasn't there that? But that's what continues to help our sport grow. And it sucks to see, like I said, it sucks to see this. It sucks to happen. But these things give us more reason to say, okay, what can we do better? What do we do better after this? So, I mean, like you said, a lot to dissect, a lot to think about, a lot to wonder why. But I mean, at this point, it's, you know, we look at it, we learn from it, and hopefully we just move forward, and hopefully we can, you know, take a couple of things from it and say, all right, we are going to improve on X, Y, and Z.
And I think improving on X, Y, and Z in this moment is, well, where were the parachutes? Obviously, drivers deploy the parachutes. He's in the midst of now flying in the air. I'm sure he's like, you know, look, that's you can't think of everything. What about an automatic situation where the chutes are popped? And I say that not knowing if chutes would have done anything in this situation, the car being sideways. Nonetheless, maybe slowing momentum down, not even hitting the scoreboard. As you said, look, 8th mile facility. Galot may be the premier 8th mile facility in the country, if not the world. It is a stellar facility. But this car had so much momentum, went well beyond the 8th marker, went and landed. I think it's beyond a quarter mile is where that marker. It's even beyond that. So, drag racing has never really had catch fences. I don't know. And there's reasons for that. I do think when you start diving into the nature of a catch fence, catch fencing, oftentimes, especially in the day and time we're in, cars getting over 200 miles per hour. A lot of drag cars do that. Catch fencing seems to have a shearing principle to it. We don't need cars shearing.
Nor do we need a car bouncing off of that and coming back on the track. But, and it's funny too, I look down in the comments right now and Stan says exactly what my mind went to when this incident happened. As soon as I saw it, was the first thing. And Stan talks about in Phoenix when Antron's tire went out of the drag racing surface. And it's in those moments where we look back and say, do you remember when that happened, right? Do you remember, like I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, but like I said, I remember Antron's tire going out. That was a big incident. This moment right here, when I'm seeing the video of that car rolling towards that fence, that's one of the first things that come to mind is like, oh crap, there's people standing there. There's motorhomes. You could see the smoke from someone's grill. They were cooking supper. And so it's like in those moments, we look back and say, okay, this is the same thing that happened before. Are we taking the steps? Yes. Granted, there wasn't too much carnage that maybe went outside of that last fence, but I think we're going in the right direction. And Lee, that's the biggest thing that we're doing. We're continuing to talk about drag racing, whether it's safety, whether it's stupidity. Excuse me, I don't mean to say that, but there's a lot that we continue to talk about. American Hot Rod Entertainment, he always has all the knowledge. 2010, so I was probably in the Army somewhere. But he always remembers those key dates. But like I said, if we continue to talk about it, we continue to grow the sport, we continue to just push forward. And that's all we can do is learn from each stepping stone and push forward to make drag racing even better tomorrow, and even better when you and I together, the second time this year, in the 2021 race season, the second time that you and I will be together in the Sin City of Las Vegas, Nevada, for the 4 Wides. Are you ready for that, Lee? What are your ideas? I mean, are you pumped up about this or what?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm still stoked of a great PDRA weekend. And look, on the incident with Hall, I know this. Tommy Franklin, owner of PDRA, and Tyler Crossnow, the kind of the operator, I'm sure they're talking about it, and I'm sure they're going to be looking into things. How can we work with race car builders? How can we work with tracks? How can we improve this? And I think we're in a time frame that when it comes to door cars, and it's time to definitely figure out what is going on with them aerodynamically, from what happens at Ducks races to what we just saw this past weekend at Galot, because this style of wreck is like the Pro Mod wreck. I saw one last year at Indy with Matuzik, very similar. It's happening. It's a reoccurring issue. We're not going to remove everything. I get it, but cars going over the wall. Whew, yeah.
So there's Roger Richards in, like, he's not just a phenomenal photographer, but even what he says. I don't know if you can pull this comment up, Lee. Right there. There's qualified people looking into this and other incidents, and that's what it takes. We can all have, and including us, Lee, we all have our opinion, right? So the only thing we can do is continue to say, okay, how do we make this better? And then after that, there was Don said something, everyone has their opinion, and you and I talked about it. We don't think maybe that there's enough downforce on these vehicles. You and I just literally spoke about this before we came on the show. Is maybe that's the incident. Maybe we need to put, the automatic shutdown and the parachutes and this and that. There's so much stuff, guys, that we can look back and say, hey, who knows? But then again, when Bader comes on later today, I think maybe we ask him. Maybe, you know what? I know who we should ask, Lee. Before we go any further with all these different, ideas we have, why not ask the pit insider? He's full of knowledge. He may have some idea on this. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good time to show that Competition Plus apparel commercial, as we always do, it seems, with this show. Why? Because you need to go to competitionplus.com and get you some swag on the place, from the place where you can believe all that you read right on the internet. And then we'll hear from a man that we can believe too, and that's Jeff Arend, our pit insider.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Jeff Arend, I have no clue what you have for us tonight because I missed you in the pre-race show. I had to upload that video of John Hall's incident to be ready for tonight. So what do you have, man?
Well, I've been listening to you guys talk about the, the pro mod deals or the other cars that kind of flying in the air. So, a couple of ways I could think of to fix it would be, a spec type wing. Most of these cars have a shitload of power, and like way more than a pro stock car, and they prep the tracks really good, so you're getting like max performance out of these cars. A spec wing would probably help. If people didn't want to do that, you could just go to like a wheel counter, like a lot of the NHRA pro guys run. So if you don't know what a wheel counter is, basically you're allowed to set in a certain distance, let's say. So if you're racing 8th mile, at 640 feet, the chutes get thrown out and the throttle gets lifted, automatically. Do I agree with all that? I don't know. I mean, if you're a pro driver, you should know how to drive properly and be able to lift on time and stuff. But, in these strange instances, and I haven't driven a pro mod car or the radial type car or whatever, but there's definitely things happening. So you could probably somehow hook up like a lateral G meter. Once you got to a certain amount of lateral Gs when the thing's sideways, it would throw the chutes out. But the easiest thing, because I think most of the guys run the Leahy style box, would to be put a wheel counter on it. 640 feet or whatever, the chutes are coming out automatically, whether the driver throws them out there or not. And I think that would probably help some in a lot of these instances, because if you get a car going over the wall and never goes into a crowd, I mean, drag racing, as we know, it's gonna get bad, So we don't want to see that. It's a pretty easy fix. It's easy to program in there, and I think that would definitely make it a lot safer. So, moving on from that, I'm kind of excited about Vegas this weekend. As most of you guys know, if you've watched the show, I help out Jim Dunn a little bit, so I go to quite a few races with him. And I think we're at the point now where the car should start to be running a little bit better than it has, which will be good. Jim Campbell's a nice guy. And, if we can go up there and run some 4.0s or maybe high 390s, I don't think we're going to go any 380s, but it'll be a lot of fun for the team, because when everybody works all weekend, you want to see some results. And I think we found a few things at the last race that's going to make it better. As far as being a spectator goes, a lot of the things that you hear from the online people are like, they want to see more independent, little teams out there to root for. And, Top Fuel, we got 15 Top Fuel cars now. You got Todd Payton driving his family car. You got Troy Buff driving the Bill Miller car, Rob Passy, Cameron Fair, in case you didn't know, it's a super late entry into the Bersham family racing Top Fuel car. So I'm sure Cameron's looking forward to getting out there, making some runs. You got James Maroney, you got Greg Carrillo, you got Mike was tuning that thing, and Aaron Brooks. So that car could really step up, between those two guys. That could be a solid, well into the 380, maybe some 370 runs in Vegas. Funny car, we're up to 19 now. You got Haddock there. You got Stephen Densham going to be running. You got Chad Green. You got Jeff Deal. You got Chris Morrell. You got Alex Milodonovich. You got Bobby Bodie Jr. Some good guys going to be out there. You got Johnny Lindbergh who's going to be driving Jason Rupert's car. Jason hasn't got licensed yet, so Johnny's going to make some runs in that thing, and it should run well. I mean, Jason's a cool guy, great driver. And then on Monday, if you stay around for the Monday Nationals, as we call it, Jason's going to be trying to get his license. Tony Gerardo, Dell and I have a guy named Jacob going to be making some runs in the family Worsham Top Fuel car on Monday, trying to get licensed. So it's good to see for the sport. You got a lot of independents out there. You got people trying to get licensed. It's kind of an exciting time.
Definitely.
So Jeff, going into this, you know, four wide, this whole talk of four wide, some negative, some positive, good, bad, indifferent. What are your thoughts?
So, you know, four wide, the first time I saw it, which was way back when I drove for the Kaleidos, it was something to see. I mean, we went and watched it in the stands, and it was kind of exciting. I mean, it's so loud, even when you're sitting in the car and there's, you know, the quad or the four cars ahead of you. When they all take off, it is like way louder than two cars taking off. As far as the driver goes, I mean, you can see some, you know, professionals and some rookies making some mistakes on staging, because you have to look at the opposite side of the tree, you know, depending what lane you're in. So if you're in lane 2 or you're lane 3, you're looking at a different side of the tree than you normally do. It kind of goofs some people up, and definitely a lot of excitement there. And I've said before, on race day, when you're racing somebody, let's say you're in lane 1 and the guy you're racing is lane 2, well, you know, if he smokes tires or something and you smoke the tires, you're going to pedal it because only 2 guys advance. So you don't know what lanes 3 and 4 are doing. So you're going to try and drive it to the finish line, and it can cause some real excitement there, and some people to maybe overdrive or drive more than they normally would. And I kind of like it. I mean, a couple times a year, I'm okay with it. I'm glad they don't do it in the countdown, but it's something to see. No doubt about that.
Well, Jeff, look, it's shaping up to be a great event for Top Fuel. As you mentioned, there are a lot of different names and players in different seats and positions. Wow, funny car, 19 cars. Wow. You know, the only class that I saw here recently that seems to be lacking is Pro Stock Motorcycle. It seems to be suffering this four wide coming up for whatever reason. I definitely want to get into the pits there, Las Vegas, and kind of ask the question, why? Where is everybody at?
Yeah, and I don't know why you wouldn't go to race at a four wide race, you know, if you had a car, because really there's not really a lot of difference. I mean, you can lose first round theoretically and still make it to the second round because they take the 2 fastest people. So why people wouldn't want to go there, I don't know. It's kind of exciting. And if you drive a race car, as I've talked about before, whether you're racing 100 feet or 1/8 mile or quarter mile or 1,000 feet, if you're a true competitor and a true driver, you want to beat the other guy no matter what the distance is. So it's not like it gets boring if you're racing shorter distances or anything, which obviously they're not. But, you know, I don't see a reason why it wouldn't come out. Vegas is a fun place to go to. It's a great facility. Jeff Foster, puts on a badass event. He preps the track great. So I'm looking forward to a great weekend and seeing you guys out there.
Looking forward to seeing you, man.
I'm excited. I'm so the trio, us 3 are going to get together. Oh, we might have some good stories like we did when Ricky Smith and all those guys, Pat Musey and all them got together. Maybe we can get some stories started kind of like that. Bobby, hopefully you're not listening. So we'll get in a little trouble.
You guys come by and see me and I'll make sure you get into trouble.
Great.
Definitely. We'll find you at the Dunn pits.
Sounds good.
Is that before or after we have to take the shot of tequila with Alexis? During.
I mean, during.
Yeah. So if it's after, that's for sure in trouble. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, for sure. I know you guys got Bader coming on. I mean, that guy, his family has done such a great job with Norwalk. I was around there 25 years ago when it was all asphalt. There was no concrete there. And he just keeps making the track better and better and better. I wish him, Bader or Bandamir could have a little bit more input in NHRA, because they really know how to put on a show. They know how to take care of the fans. They know how to take care of everything. They're just 2 great guys, and Bader's one of the best, the whole family. So I know you're going to have a good time talking to him. And, his Night Under Fire deal that we used to go to was spectacular. they would tell you, hey, Jeff, you're going to run at like 7:19. Your next run's going to be at 9:03. And they were pretty well right on time. All the guys dressed up in tuxedos. It's if you ever get a chance to go to that event, it's a must watch. I would go there if I wasn't driving anything, and that's saying a lot.
Well, man, look, you said all that at the right time. Bill popped in the studio. We've got him behind the studio. So he caught all of that bragging by you, Jeff Arend. And, yeah, we're definitely going to have him on the show in about 10 minutes or so. About 10 minutes, we're going to have Bill Bader Jr. on. Jeff, thank you for being on Competition Plus Power Hour, man.
All right. See you guys next week, or actually in a few days.
Countdown is on, baby.
Sounds good.
Man, always refreshing, as Pat says here. Really like hearing Jeff's opinion. Yes, we like having Jeff's opinion on matters as well.
Wait a minute. Before we go any further, if I recall today, it dropped today, or I should say 11 hours ago or something. One of your videos ended up on NHRA.
Yeah, it did. It did, yes.
So I just want, I didn't know when to throw this in, but it was in my notes to say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a superstar. My co-host, that guy over there.
Yeah, that way.
He is a superstar. If you haven't checked it out, Brian Loans had an interview today with Richard Hartman, and the Monday Morning Racer, the Amish guy, Lee Craft, his video was actually used. So guys and girls out there, when we tell you, hey, we're out here to capture this footage, to get these interviews, to tell the stories of these racers, it is an honor. I for you, and I definitely want you to talk about it, but to have your own footage used by NHRA, and it's something that we all look forward to doing, to have an interview released by them. So yeah, man, I just want to say congratulations publicly to you. As my friend, my partner,
Sam,
my brother.
Sam, I'm touched. I'm touched, man.
Hey,
no, honestly, look, it was
you get
really
the Slammy. You get the Slammy for like 2 weeks for that.
Yeah, look, it was really cool. I knew something was up when Brian Loans followed me on Twitter. I'm like, what's going on here? And then I get the message, hey, could we use your clip? And I'm like, I'll send you the original file if you want me to. And I sent the original file, and they used it in the interview 2 times and did a nice job in the interview. Obviously, Brian does an exceptional job, but the way they pieced it in, you can see that on NHRA.com or NHRA Facebook. I believe it's also on Twitter. And when you see the run of that fuel altered, Richard Hartman fuel altered on Saturday, and it goes over 300 miles per hour, and you got the crew guys celebrating, because Texas Motorplex is proud to have that record at their place. That's why they were so excited. Yeah, that's my footage. That was me filming. It's a cool moment for sure, man. Cool moment. And yes, it's an honor to be able to do what I'm doing, like right here tonight with you, being able to interact with fans. The short end of the short story is 2 years ago, pastoring a struggling church, getting dung slung in my face because I'm on a dairy farm and working maintenance at a oil technology company. And from there to here, what a journey it's been, thanks to Chip Loft and others such as Bobby Bennett. And it's definitely cool to be right here with you. And yeah, cool for the NHRA to use some footage. Got to get paid next time though. I got to figure that out.
Jeez, just throw it out there. Why not? Right. But man,
hey, Mikey here. He says, congrats, Mr. Amish guy. You guys need to have Loans on here one week. I mentioned that to him, Mikey. And I mentioned it to him in this way. We need you to come on because we want dirt on Bobby. He used to work for Competition Plus, and I got an ecstatic yes. So we should have Brian Loans on Competition Plus Power Hour eventually.
That'll be one of those episodes where we do not send Bobby the link to come on, because then he might shut the whole show down.
He might shut it all down. He might shut it all down.
We got to be careful about it. But hey, man, Pro Extreme champion Brandon Snyder is going to make his debut in Vegas in his top alcohol funny car here this week. And, speaking about that, I had a great interview. We talked about it on a couple of shows with on your show, In Between the Slicks, with Sean Bellamere.
Shane.
Shane. See? No, it's Sean. No, it's Shane.
Sean.
Either way.
Sean.
Yes. See? It's not Shane. See? We kept messing that up. But we had him on. And so I think that's going to be interesting. You know, I told him I definitely want to come to his pit and talk to him live. But I think that's going to be cool. Brandon Schneider, Pro Extreme Champion, is now making his debut. And that's what we like to see. That's what it's all about, is seeing these guys and these girls step up to the next level and say, hey, guess what? I'm ready. I'm taking this challenge on, and I can do this, you know? And I think the sky's the limit for him. I mean, if you've watched any of, and this is a shout out to the limo guy, any of the real pro stock that he's got going on, he talked about Brandon Snyder quite a bit and different things that he's doing. And, you know, he's a true fan of his. But I think it's going to be great to see him make his debut in Top Alcohol Funny Car. I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited that people are excited about moving to the next level and going to, you know, challenge themselves. I mean, why not? Drag racing is not slowing down. It's all about getting faster, reaching that next ET, reaching that next mile per hour. So why not?
I like seeing drivers being multi-classed. I'll put it that way. For example, Erica Enders, pro stock, obviously, but she'll go race, I believe it's a comp eliminator in that Pontiac. And, you know, some folks don't know she actually has been licensed before in a Top Alcohol Funny Car. She's done it at Frank Hawley's schools. You know, she might have to get her license again for all I know, but she could do that again. I like hearing Stevie Fast Jackson's hopping an alcohol funny car. I like hearing drivers doing more than just being disciplined in one type of class. I like hearing pro drivers go into the big money bracket races and doing bracket racing and giving exposure there with the spot that they have. I think it's good for the sport when you have Leah in Top Fuel and she's also banging gears in the factory stock showdown class. Look, it's good. I love it when drivers are doing that and they're getting more experience. I think it's better for them as drivers. They're going to learn more and they're going to be able to drive better. And when they learn more and when they drive better, guess what? We as fans, we have that much more to enjoy. Sam.
But you know what we have to enjoy? It's a party that's going to go on. And unfortunately, this was the year that I was supposed to go, but hey, things happen, you know, everything's stacked on top of each other with the race season. But the all-inclusive, the party, the show, that's Woodstock.
Woodstock is happening this weekend. That's right.
Darlington.
Man, there are so many great events. I feel frustrated. Like this year, there's so many great drag racing events that seem like they're overlapping, unlike other years. And maybe it's just because I'm trying to get to so many, but it's like, man, Woodstock's just down the road, but I'm going to Las Vegas. There's great events happening everywhere throughout the country.
The only thing I'm waiting for, you know, other than Bill to break the internet again like he did last year, I'm waiting for the call-outs for Woodstock. I mean, leading up to Woodstock, I think that event, that rivalry, that just let's go and have a damn good time feeling, and excuse me if I'm not supposed to say dams, but Beavers built those. So, anywho, that just excitement. Stevie Fast Jackson, you know, calling people out last year, saying, if you want some, come get some. All over the internet, the fun, the atmosphere. I think Woodstock, even though I've never been, just talking to people and hearing about it, the excitement and, you know, just the fun family atmosphere that it brings to drag racing is important. And I think that's something too, like our guest tonight, he has a fun family atmosphere with what he's built down there. So, I mean, I just, like you said, there's a lot going on, too many events stacked on top of each other. So what do? You know, we need a
2-hour show. That's what we need. We need a 2-hour show to be able to cover it all. There's that much going on in the world of drag racing. And look, dude, that is good news. Look, the people who say drag racing's dying, bull. Drag racing is not dying. I think drag racing may be on the verge of some of its best days ever if we manage it right. Drag racing, I think, is doing just fine. Look, before we bring on Bill Bader Jr., before we bring him on,
wait. You can't. No. If you're gonna say that, if you're going to say that and not mention the fact that Vegas sold out as quick as it did, I mean, so you can't buy a ticket. There's people saying, hey, man, I'm going to be in this area. I can't even go. If that doesn't tell you that drag racing is back on the biggest platform and the people are loving it, and the things that maybe you and I are hanging a small, contributing factor to, but just telling the news of drag racing, straight incline, baby. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. Well, man, look, I do want to say before we go to commercial break and afterwards have Mr. Bill Bader Jr. on, congratulations to Jim Halsey. Imagine that. He won in Pro Nitrous. Pro Boost, Johnny Camp gets a little bit of redemption from not being able to stay and put it in the beams for the finals in the final last year for the PDRA. And Chris Powers, I'm going to have Chris Powers on my show Thursday night. He won Extreme Pro Stock, a fitting move without having a competitor in the other lane in Mr. Boone because he broke. He idled down the track to honor Sonny Leonard and his passing and his legacy. So, man, look, PDRA, folks, you got to check it out. Their next event is Bowling Green, Kentucky Beach Bend Raceway. Check that out. Oh, by the way, they're going to be at Norwalk, Ohio later on. And somebody that we are going to talk to in just a few moments has a loose connection. Commercial break, Bill Bader Jr. next.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Bill, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Good evening. How are you both?
Man, doing great.
Doing great. That background right there, it's still, every time I see it, it breaks the internet for me. Like, the internet should just pause when they see your face, that background, because it's like, here you go. Here's a heavy-ass message that you're about to receive. So
I'm surprised I'm allowed back on. I thought maybe I was banned indefinitely, so I'm just happy to be back.
Well, Mr. Bader, you have, I know we have not talked in person at all. You don't even know who I am. I want you to know you have the best racing facility that I ever have been to, period, from drag racing to circle track racing to dirt track racing. You have the best facility. I was completely shocked when I went there in 2019 for the first time ever to try to pick up whatever interviews I could at the NHRA national event, starting with my Monday Morning Racer deal. And from everybody wearing the same uniforms to everybody being nice, I call your place now the Disneyland of drag strips. That's where I rank it. I mean, you don't even have to have the ice cream, but you have that. It is amazing what y'all have going on there. And I don't know if she works there still or not, but Mary Linzion,
Mary Lenzen.
There we go, Lenzen.
Yep.
Look, shout out to her. I didn't know what I was doing in the media world. And I'm like, you know what? I see all these people with purple vests. I'm going to go inside to the offices and see what I can find out about getting one of these purple vests to do this job. I walk in. I asked to speak to someone. I'm a nobody. And she took the time to talk to me, explain to me, give me a business card, and say, this is what you got to do. That's the quality of people you got there. And, man, thank you for what you're doing.
Well, wow. I thank you so much. I that's humbling to hear. That makes me very proud. It also sets an incredible expectation, which is what we attempt to do every time we throw open our gates. We are in a professional sport. The goal is to someday achieve the same level of success as the major league stick and ball sports. And I believe we can do it. I think we have a product to do it. I think we have the talent. I think we have the stars. We just need to work at it. We need to be better. in a lot of areas, but thank you so much for the kind words. And I think Mary might be watching. And right now I'm going to have to deal with a giant ego because you saved her business card. So thank you for that too. Not quite sure how I'm going to deal with her after this interview.
Way to go, Lee. So in the comments, Bill, someone says that they wish you would buy Milan Dragway. So I don't know if that's in your realm, if that's something that you even want to take on, but hey, people want that. Just shows what kind of person and what kind of, you know, establishment, like Lee was saying, that you guys are doing, that people want you guys to say, hey, come do what you're doing there at my home track. So I think that's huge. And you guys have been doing it, you know, for some time. And it just goes to show, like Lee said, you know, I'm going to double back on him, that you guys have a facility I've never been, but people have told me, Sam, you have to get there. It's unbelievable. So I just want to, you know, tip my hat to you and just say thank you for continuing to grow racing and motorsports. But like you said, you want to compare it to stick and ball sports. So my question to you is, how do we put drag racing and motorsports on that same exact platform? And why are we not there yet?
Wow. A couple of comments. Number one, we have a perfect sport for a fan base with an ever shortening attention span. We can give fans a new race if it's a fuel category. We can give fans a new race every 10 seconds, every 12 seconds, every 15 seconds. That's an advantage. We're an extreme sport. It's a visceral sport where you actually physically can feel what 10 or 11,000 horsepower feels like, right? You get nitromethane in your face, your eyes water, your nose drains, your throat gets scratchy, your chest gets pounded by fuel cars and jet cars. So we've got the product. We have a sport that fits a fan base with a shortening attention span. I don't know that we need to be better. We just need to be better. We need to be better with all of our touch points. And what I mean by that is, I don't know that we focus on the guest experience the way we need to focus. What is the guest experience like? What is the facility like? What is it like in the parking lot? Ease of access. I mean, right. So we are the difference makers. When you step foot on our property, you've arrived at Summit Motorsports Park, and now it's the Bader way. And it starts with the first touch point. And what's the first touch point? It's the parking lot. The young man or young lady directing you into your parking space. And then the next touch point is the experience at the gate. The next touch point is once you enter the park. And there are hundreds of experiences that a guest will process before they ever sit in the grandstands and watch a car go down the racetrack. So I'm going to ask you, what are those experiences like? Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they met with indifference? And I'm going to tell you that in a lot of areas, our sport is not meeting or exceeding expectations. And I'm talking about all of us. We as an industry need to be better.
Here. The experience I had at your track compared to another NHRA national event track, I'll juxtapose. I won't name this track, but people can find on my channel my thoughts on what happened at this particular Southwest track. That get in the parking lot, and there was nothing that told you what you could and could not bring in, and you could not find the information on the website. And after a decent walk, get to the gates, and I'm told I cannot bring this, this, and this in. And we're talking about items that at other national events that I had been to around the country were acceptable. So something brand new that, you know, shocking fan experience to me at the time. Like, I can't bring this in. I took it into Indianapolis, the Mecca. What's going on, people? So, yeah, at the park, it begins at the parking lot. It sure does.
Well, and I think something we need to remember when you go to an NFL game or you go to a Major League Baseball game, there is standardized uniform criteria. So you mentioned carrying XYZ into Indianapolis. Those same XYZ components should be allowed in Norwalk, should be allowed in Bandimere, should be allowed at Epping. And again, that's part of being better, communicating, creating uniformity, creating some standards that oftentimes when we lose guests, I will tell you it has nothing to do with the product on the racetrack. It has to do with everything else: clean bathrooms, well-lit parking lots, creature comfort features, your food court, how we interact with our fans. You know, we have a saying here that no is a 4-letter word to our guest. And it's true, because you just said you saw no signage. There was nothing available to you on a website. You went to the gate, and what were you told? No, 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 no. No is a 4-letter word to our guest. And one year, we actually, everybody in a uniform had a badge on that said, "The answer is yes. What is the question?" And that's really the mentality. No is a 4-letter word to our guest, and we need to figure out how to say yes, not no. And I think sometimes, for whatever reason, and there are a multitude of them, we are not fan friendly, and we're probably seeing some of the results of that right now. So we've just got to be better as an industry. All of us, the baiters, everybody, we've all just got to be better at what we do. And I believe if we do that, and we establish our core competencies, and we're consistent, and we manage all those touch points, what we do isn't hard. We're not splitting atoms. We're not a government contractor. We're not doing something on the moon. We're just being kind to people and welcoming them into our home, entertaining the hell out of them while we're here, and leaving them feeling like they just had the experience of a lifetime and anxious to return next year or next week or next month. It's not that hard.
You know, and that goes off of something that you always say, and I think it's phenomenal, is you can't lose if the customer wins. That's a statement that you've made multiple times. And you know, looking back, and like I said, what you said last year, that statement is still what drives you guys to continue to put on, you know, your phenomenal show. So when you say that, exactly, like, what does that mean, and how do you eat, sleep, and pretty much breathe that statement?
You can't lose if the customer wins?
Yes.
It is the very core of everything we do. You heard Jeff Arend, and Jeff, man, I could not have paid enough for that positive commentary about the Kelly Night Under Fire. So Jeff's a good guy, and thank you for that, Jeff. But the bottom line is just take care of people. Just take care of people. My father, in 1997, when he had purchased the International Hot Rod Association, and I was sitting in his office, and he looked at me and he said, he shared with me one final piece of advice, and he picked up a blue mechanical pencil and he said, "I want to remind you of something. You can't always run one of these with this." And he held up a pencil. And what he meant by that is deal with people not numbers. Don't make decisions based on bottom line. Don't make a decision based on how to make more money, how to more line your pocket. Take care of your guests. Make your guests happy, and the rest will take care of itself. And that's really our approach. And do we, under promise and over deliver? Do we spend more than we should? Is our 6 fuel cars acceptable when we're sending 8 out at the first round at the Kelly Night Under Fire? Do we need 10 jet dragsters? Would 8 work? I always err on the side of the guest. And so what that means is every decision that we make, not that I make, but we at Summit Motorsports Park, we always err on the side of the guest. And that ensures that at the end of the day, we've made the right decision. And as evidence, and I'll give you a perfect example, in March of 2020, going into, as of March 1st, we had $1.5 million in ticket sales for 2020 events. And I got to be honest, a lot of that money was already earmarked for things, already spent. And I was sitting here in a situation, the pandemic hits. I knew that this was going to be a long haul deal. This was not going to be over in 7 or 14 days. And I thought, my God, I can't pay all that money back. I don't have it. And so what I did is I went to our fans and I said, we have ceased operations for the year. As a result, you can do one of 2 things. We can either refund your money 100%. It's going to take me a period of time to do that, or you can carry your tickets into 2022. We refunded about 90 grand. That's 0.5%. And that only happened because people believed in us. And that's because we've taken care of them for all these years. So when I needed them the most, they stepped up for me. So what more could you possibly want from a loyal fan base? And why would you not want to go out and work your ass off for them? I mean, that's it in a nutshell. So I just take care. It's not hard. It's no different than it's Christmas morning. It's a birthday party. It's New Year's Eve. You're inviting guests into your home. You just take care of them, right? You make sure they're comfortable. You make sure they're happy. You make sure they're enjoying themselves. That's what we do. Everything we do, there's no rocket science. Everything we do is pretty much hidden in plain sight.
Wow, what a great story to hear concerning the bottom line and fans sticking with the track. Mm-hmm. That is spectacular. So talking about creature comfort, Stan Waxberg, he mentions, and there's several things he mentions. He says he has not been to Norwalk, and y'all have a great facility from the themed concession stands to great restrooms. You can actually sit under a shade tree in some spots, and somehow y'all figured out that perfect angle of the grandstands where it's like you're hovering over the track. I love that feeling. It's great. Anyway, I'm going to put together 3 comments showing that. 1, offer shaded grandstands, more bandwidth at the track, and get fans parked faster. So what are the feasibility of shaded grandstands, more bandwidth, and parking fans faster? And I heard you in an interview talking about parking and like one of the first NHRA events that y'all didn't look at the data right and people came a different way than they did like the IHRA. So yeah, talk to us about grandstands, shade, bandwidth, and parking people.
Well, okay, bandwidth, number one. Think about 10 years ago, everywhere you went, you had to pay for bandwidth, and then bandwidth became free. Well, up until a couple of years ago, we sit in a rural part of north central Ohio. 78% of the population is within an 8 hours drive of our zip code. But sadly, we sit in a very rural part of north central Ohio. We're 60 miles from Cleveland, Toledo, 119 from Columbus. And up until 2 years ago, we had only a 50 meg internet connection. Prior to that, I had a 10 meg internet connection. So 2 years ago, we make a substantial 6-figure investment, and we now, lo and behold, have a 500 meg internet connection, burstable to 10 gig. So we've now got the pipeline. The challenge is now spending the money in infrastructure in order to feed 30,000 seats. We're a 400-acre facility. We have 30,000 seats. The seating bowl is 600 feet long by, let's say, 400 feet wide. That's a huge area. We had a meeting with an engineering company about 3 months ago. I think that's going to probably be suspended for at least 1 year so we can kind of get our legs underneath us. But I am well aware of having a robust internet connection at our racetrack. So that's in the works. I recognize that. Number two, I worked with a civil engineering firm. We did a lot of traffic studies. We make right turns into the park. So, but what people need to remember is we sit on a single lane highway. Okay. Our Night Under Fire legitimately parks about 18,000 cars. We have 40,000 people at Night Under Fire. So 18,000 cars is a lot of cars. We don't have muni lots. We have basically grass parking lots that are well constructed, that are reasonably lit, not well lit, but reasonably lit. And so what we do is we make right turns into our park. Everything's a right turn, so you don't have to cross traffic. And I think I'm surprised to hear that ingress is a problem, because to be very honest with you, I think we have solved our ingress problems. Now, when 18,000 people start to leave and we're going to empty them out onto single lane highways, that's going to take time. That's the long and the short of it. Short of a widening endeavor that would cost tens of millions of dollars, I'm not quite sure how to skin that cat, truthfully. The third item, I have never explored covered grandstands. I would imagine that our grandstands are 520 feet long. I would imagine that's an expensive proposition. That I've never considered. And it's never been suggested to me. So I think those were the three that you shared with me.
Yes, and look, they were just in general. They weren't necessarily to Norwalk in particular. But hey, thank you for breaking down those items, because I think oftentimes as fans, period, are like, why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? And you broke it down like this is how we have to think about it and move forward with it. So thank you for doing that. And yes, I was so shocked going to Norwalk for the first time. This great facility is out in the middle of nowhere. And it is a great little town. Like there's that little breakfast joint downtown that's got such great food. I stopped in and ate there. Can't remember now what it is, but nonetheless, y'all are out in the middle of nowhere. You're outnumbered by corn instead of people.
Well, but here's the misnomer about that. If you look within a 300-mile radius, there are 49 million people within a 300-mile radius. Toledo is 60 miles. Detroit in Southeast Michigan is 119 miles. We've got Cleveland, 60 miles. Pittsburgh is 176 miles. So that delivers all of Western PA. Buffalo's 247 miles. There's Western New York. Canada, our Canadian support is off the charts. We're strong in Ohio. We're strong in Indiana. So we are blessed. So yes, we sit in a rural part of the county, but there is a lot of people within a short drive to Summit Motorsports Park.
So, I mean, and you say that and you look it up and you see all this stuff of, what you guys got going on. And you mentioned Night of Fire and the NHRA stuff, but you guys used to do a lot of IHRA stuff too. So looking over the growth of where you've been and where you're at, and you're continuing to look forward and saying, we've looked at doing this, but right now we can't. How does that feel for you, knowing this is where we were, this is where I currently am, but I have that vision for the next however long?
So I am very proud of the road we have traveled, but I'm also very frustrated that we have not traveled further. I'm an exceedingly impatient person, number one. Number two, I was taught from a young age to, when walking through your facility, look for everything that's wrong. And that's just been part of my training since I've been 10 years old. So I walk into a building, I walk into an open field, I walk into a house. My eyes immediately go to crooked switch plates, dust hanging in a can light. They go to things that aren't square, things that aren't plumb, things that are rusty, things that are not well manicured. I see everything that's wrong, and it is supremely frustrating to me because I demand excellence of myself, of the people I work with, and the facility that I operate. So I'm very proud. A friend told me, I don't know, 2 months ago, don't let great stand in the way of good. So I'm trying to embrace that philosophy a little bit, but man, we have not traveled far enough, fast enough. And again, look at the mega stadiums that the NFL is building. Look at Levi Stadium, the new stadium in New Jersey, the Texas Stadium, the new stadium where the Raiders play in Vegas. How do we compare to them? That's the question. Let's not compare ourselves to one another. Let's compare ourselves to where fans congregate for mass gatherings for major league sporting events. And while we all kind of go, ugh, we don't measure up, let's not shudder from that. Let's learn from it. Let's raise the bar. Let's challenge ourselves. I mean, listen, when we have incredible amounts of rain, we're going to get cars stuck in the parking lot. Our parking lots are not as well lit as they should be. Our facilities they could be better. We could all be better. And that's what I said, I think, at the start of this. So I think we need to continue to look at, if we want to be an industry leader, if we as an industry want to compete with the stick and ball sports, that's who we compare ourselves to. How do we compare to Disney? Why don't we have better internet connection at our racetracks? Why do we not have smooth ingress and egress? Why are we still using porta-johns? Listen, there aren't enough hours of tape for me to share with you everything in every area that I think we fall short in. And so we continually work, and we work our butts off. We kill people with kindness, and we reinvest. And our fans have grown with us. They understand. They see the passion. I think they feel the sincerity and how authentic we are, and we reinvest. And we kind of got slowed down a little bit in 2020, but we're getting back on the horse, and we'll keep spending and keep reinvesting and keep getting better.
Sam, man, is it not refreshing to hear from a guy like this? Wow.
I'm sitting here and I'm just writing notes of like everything he's saying, because it's crazy. It's like, you and I, we talk pretty much every other day, every couple of days of, okay, what else can we do? What are we missing? And to hear you, Bill, say this is like, we're not crazy. Okay, how do we expand? How do we reach other people? How do we do this? And just the things that you're continuing to say, like, honestly, might as well write a book about the 1,055 different ways of how to run a drag strip or what to do, because you continue, like, every point it's just like, we need to do this. Why aren't we doing this? Why haven't we thought of that? And it's amazing, you know, to do it. And I can honestly say, like I said, I've never been, but I've heard one person say, a really good friend of mine, and he's a Chick-fil-A lover like I am, and he goes, man, everyone's happy, everyone's having a good time. But even that little bit of ice cream, he's like, it just puts that, you know, that cherry on the top for him, is what he always says. He goes, it reminds me of going to Chick-fil-A, how they say, it's my pleasure. He says, when I leave there, I feel the same way that I left,
Sure.
the Motorsports Park. He says, because everyone is just so friendly and so kind. So it's my pleasure. And you keep saying it, my team, your team, you guys do this together. And then we, instead of hearing someone in your situation, instead of you saying you're saying we. And I just think I'm like tickled pink, I guess is the word to say, of just someone is thinking 25 years down the road, and everyone in the comments is saying it, you know, amazing experience. You know, I would travel this far and this far to go there. And so, I mean, you know, hearing what you said last year on the internet, like I said, it broke the internet, and that's maybe something we can talk about. I don't know, Lee, if you want to dive into that, but you know, and now you know, reaffirming like, hey, we're not going anywhere. We've been thinking about this, we're continuing to think about this, and I and my team and our facility still has more to grow on. So Lee, Bill, I mean, I'm blown away, man. This is amazing to hear. I think all track owners, you know, should be feeling the same way, like have the same energy. So I think it's amazing.
Definitely. Speaking of growing, Norwalk will welcome the PDRA. I'm wearing some PDRA swag for the first time, from what I understand. And from my time living in Western New York, outside of Rochester, New York, the door car people up there look at Norwalk as door car country.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the sense of pride, if you will, of having a door car centric body such as the PDRA come to Summit Motorsports Park?
Well, I'm very excited to be a host facility. You know, we talked about it for a period of years, and there were date conflicts and other issues. And finally, it was Tyler Crossnow who reached out and said, and Tyler is a fine young man. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of heart. He bleeds this stuff. And it was actually Tyler that was kind of able to put the deal together. And I'm very excited. We were the home of the IHRA World Nationals forever. And I got to tell you, at the IHRA World Nationals, best round of the entire event was Friday night top sportsman qualifying. I always was in the stands. I was privileged enough to be able to announce the national event a few times, and there was nothing quite like that Friday night hero round where everybody saved their best parts. They bolted them on, and they were either going to rotate the earth or blow up. And so, but we were. I mean, I announced the year that we had 54 pro mods qualifying for a 16-car field at the IHRA World Nationals. Dave Romer and John DeSerbo run a very successful pro mod program that appears at select events here. This is, and I know the South is really strong for fast door cars, but this part of the country is pretty darn strong as well. Very strong top sportsmen, some of the fastest, most successful top sportsman teams are here. Lots of successful pro mods, lots of stock, super stock racers. We have some incredible door cars in Ohio. Of course, we're 119 miles from Detroit, so we've got Southeast Michigan and that incredible culture that exists. in that Detroit and surrounding area. And of course, the Northeast, New York. I mean, look at the engine builders and some of the prominent names that live in that Buffalo, Schenectady, West Seneca, New York area. So we have lots of door cars, and to be able to be a host facility for a PDRA event, to put that on Memorial Day weekend, to be the first big event since our NMCA event in August of 2019, to come back on Memorial Day weekend with Pro Mod and all of those exotic classes, to come back with jets and fireworks, which of course, you got to blow something up when you're at Norwalk. I'm pretty excited, and I'm anxious to see what we can do with that thing. I think it'll be a very special weekend. It's on a great weekend, and let's get after it. So pretty excited about to be able to say that Summit Motorsports Park is finally a PDRA host facility.
Lee, you know what other event I think they should host? And it's going to be, we haven't told Bobby yet, so this is breaking news. I don't know really if it is. But I think the Summit Motorsports Park should hold the first NHRA All-Star Weekend. I think it should happen. We've talked about this. So Bill, maybe another day us three can all get on the phone. Got to include Bobby, obviously. But we've talked about it. I think we should have top fuel drivers, drive pro stock, pro mod drivers, get in the funny car, mix it up, have an all-star weekend. And I don't see why Norwalk wouldn't be the perfect place for it. So, I mean, if we can get all collective heads, we can talk to Richard, maybe get Richard Freeman involved, and get, Wes Buck, get all these good promoters down there. I don't know. I'm just saying, I was thinking about this, been writing it down. So Bill, if you're up to it, I mean, I think you got the facility to do it.
That is exciting, actually. I think one of the things that we all have a tendency to probably fall into the trap, and that is of creating cookie cutter type events, and they become vanilla. And that's at our Night Under Fire, we script that show. And Jeff referenced it. We create a script, we script it to the minute, and we know that at 5:30 we're getting ready for pre-race, and we know that at 7:59 there's going to be a historic P-51 Mustang flyby on the last bars of our national anthem, and we Will Rock You, and 40,000 people are pounding their feet, and you've got a pair of fuel cars burning across the starting line, and it's like just raw, unbridled emotion, and people are on the edge of explosion. And we script that 3-hour show, and we take them on the roller coaster ride, right? We've got baby hills with shortfalls, and then we've got some unexpected twists and turns, and you get people to laugh, and you make them cry, and then you make that big climb, and everybody knows the drop is coming, and next thing you know, the bottom falls out of your seat, and you're falling to your death, and at the last possible second, you pull up. We are in the entertainment business, and I think we need to go sit in our grandstands and watch our shows. And if we're bored, I guarantee you our fans are bored. So to create something new and fresh, like an all-star weekend, absolutely. And Bobby should be able to come up with a couple $100,000 to be the sponsor of that.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Boom.
Yes, Bobby. Hey, it is the Competition Plus NHRA All-Star Weekend. There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
I love it.
I mean,
there we go.
He's already told you the script. He's got the script. Look, did you hear?
There you go. It's filed somewhere. He's ready to go with it. Speaking, go ahead, Sam.
Done. I've got nothing. I think that's how you end the show right there. Boom. Script made.
Well, look,
race is happening. I do you guys next week.
I at least have 2 more questions, because I've got to know. Night Under Fire, have not been there yet. Hopefully make it this year. Yeah. Who in whatever meeting said, let's burn the billboard? How did that come up?
Actually, Bob Motes, and this is true. So the first year my father booked John Force to appear at Night Under Fire in 1994, 5, 6 time frame, something like that. I think Bob Motes, who arguably has the most recognizable jet vehicle on the planet, and we of course have the Bob Motes Grandstand. Bob lives right down the road. So Bob was the exclamation point when I script our shows. What is the exclamation point? What is the send off? And that's always been Bob. And so Bob was feeling a little jilted that Force was on property. And so this was very organic. He didn't tell anybody. Bob, when his son rolled him out onto the racetrack, he parked very close to the head of staging sign. We didn't think anything of it until he burnt the thing. And I think that was Bob's way of saying, this is still my house. And when it first happened, we were in shock. I mean, we were in shock. And it just took on a life of its own, like $1 a pound of ice cream. It just took on a life of its own. And now it's like hashtag will it burn. And it's insane. We've got 4x8 sheets of plywood flying, and I've got a guy that came up to me and he said, my shirt, it's burned. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And he said, that is so cool. Will you sign my shirt? And I thought, thank God, lawsuit averted. So Bob created that in an attempt to remind everybody that John Force can't do what I do.
Yes, that is an epic story. I did not know that's how it went down. That is so great. That is so cool. Yes. Yeah, Bill, when's the book coming out? There needs to be a book about all this.
Listen, I'm just thankful I'm not in jail. So now, I actually, it's funny you should say that, because I started when I was 10 years old. This is my 45th year. I learned so much in my time here. And I learned about business. I learned about people. I learned where babies come from. I learned just volumes of things from my 45 years here, from 10, starting at 10 years old. And the stories, the incredible stories, the things I've seen. Quick story. IHRA World Nationals, Saturday night of fire, and we have a rain delay. And I decided to go out and entertain fans on the racetrack, and I decided to do a foot race. I pick one person out of the grandstands on the Bud side, one person out of the grandstands on the Summit side. And as the two men approach me, one of them has a prosthetic leg, and the other one is drunk. And I thought, are you kidding me? And so I thought, okay, the gentleman that was drunk, he'll be entertaining. The guy with the prosthesis out on a sticky racetrack is just a bad combination. So I take the guy aside and I said, listen, it's sticky out here. And he says, I'm not handicapped, I'll run. Well, the crowd heard that and they erupted. And I'm thinking, oh, great. So I put these two guys, I stage them in the stage beam. I say go. The tree drops to green, and the drunk is bobbing and weaving and probably fell down, I don't know, and got back up. The gentleman with the prosthesis, his leg comes off at the knee, and he tumbles end over end. And I'm thinking, that's it. I'm done. I cannot recover from this. I'm over. It's just done. He runs back, hops on one leg, runs back, gets his leg, throws it over his shoulder, finishes the race. And the crowd went nuts, absolutely nuts. And that was not scripted. It wasn't planned. But by the grace of God, I came out of it smelling like a rose. So there you go.
Wow. Yes. Yes. I want the book. I want the book,
Yeah.
Sam.
When the book comes out, just this was helped by Monday Morning Racer.
Yeah, this is
Slammin
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if I get that, I'm good. But it just seems like you said, and like you continue to say, everything you've done has genuinely and, you know, synthetically just come out and been good. You know, even the story you just told, in the worst two situations you could possibly have, right? And still, you're doing something that entertains the people. And, you know, it's funny to hear it, and I say it a lot. Wes Buck says it. You know, if you're not tooting your own horn, you can't get mad at, you know, the music that's being played. That's not exactly how it says it, but, you know, it's like you're saying. We're in the entertainment business, and if we don't continue to entertain, continue to bring something new, you know, to have this guy, the Amish looking dude over there with the funny looking glasses. But guess what? People are starting to wear those glasses. It's catching on, you know, the different things that you're doing and the different ideas. So like I said, write the book, do the all-star race that we're all going to be a part of, and continue doing what you're doing. I mean, who can complain? I mean, like I said, my hat's off to you. I can't wait to get down to your facility and just take it in. So I'm excited to see what's next and what ideas you guys are going to do and continue to promote this great sport that we love.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Bill, look, we're going to let you go.
You had one more question.
Well, I do have one. I do have one more question, but
I can come back on, you know, though.
Yeah, we got to have you back on. Yeah, we got to have you back on. Look,
Lee, I'll just do this. I say we have him on my show, then we can get the real, raw, unscripted. He can say exactly how he feels, because I want to dive into this whole interview you had and pretty much told everyone you can go where you need to go, and I'm going to run my racetrack. I think that's the conversation to have on In the Groove, because man, oh man, was that the breaking of the internet for about a good week and a half.
Yeah,
definitely. Bill, I just want to give you the platform before we say bye to you. Say whatever you got to say to fans, competitors, social, you know, sanctioning bodies, from the man leading the charge in the drag racing entertainment world with that great facility. You say what you got to say, man.
No, you know, I guess in closing, I just want to thank our fans. I want to thank the incredible outpouring of support that we have received the last year. What got us through 2020 was just the incredible outpouring of support. I received donations, I received letters, I received notes, and I returned all the money, by the way. But I just received a letter. This is dated April 8th. Received your full color mailer of this year's events in the mail yesterday. Looks like you are going to roar back in the form NRP is known for. And he goes on to say, last year I sent you a check and you wouldn't accept it. Will you accept it this year? And I'm going to cover it up, but there you go. And it's not the dollar amount. It's the letter that accompanied the check. And whether it was $25 or $5,000, our fans stuck with it. Our fans stuck with us. Our racers stuck with us. Our sponsors stuck with us. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. You don't take your checking account with you. You don't take all your jewelry and all your art and all your collectibles. That's all just material crap that we surround ourselves with. At the end of the day, all you take with you is your good name. And I'm damn proud to be a Bader, and I'm damn proud of what we do here. And I'm damn proud to have so many friends and so much support. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Boom. There it is. Thank you, Mr. Bader. And look, for me, make sure you tell Mary hello for me.
I will do that. Absolutely.
Thank you. I mean, continue to, promote drag racing and what you're doing. As you can see, the comments, the fans, the people that love your facility and love what the Bader family and the Bader way is about. And like I said, hopefully to get you on in the Groove podcast with Lee. I think Lee needs to hear this, but we can definitely talk about breaking the internet. But again, thank you for what you've done and continuing to grow the entertainment sport that we love of drag racing and motorsport.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. It was fun. I enjoyed it. You have a great night.
You too. Man.
Bill Bader Jr. That was refreshing, man. That was refreshing.
Dude, I'm telling you, that you said it's like Disneyland. I don't know, man. I'm honestly, like my friend said, that is the Chick-fil-A. My pleasure.
I get the Chick-fil-A connection, man. I get it. Disneyland. Maybe you should say Disney World of drag racing.
Dude, possibly. I mean, that is the my pleasure of drag racing. And he kept saying it, it's what we do. It's what we want to do, continuing to do it. So you look at a track, right? And you're saying, okay, what can we do better? He's already thinking, hey, I've thought about the bandwidth. I've thought about this. I've thought about, trying to get you guys in and out of my facility faster. But right now we can't do it. But guess what? I've heard your complaints. I've heard what you said. We are going to get that done for you. We are trying to promote and grow. And then the idea of him saying, yeah, sure, we'll host that special event. We like unique events. That is awesome. That's someone that says, hell yeah, let's go towards this other. Mike Ashley's coming in. Look, that's a perfect event. He said he missed it, but he loves Bill Bader. And he's the guy that's going to put you on a motorcycle at that event. So
right. I didn't ask Bill about that. We got to spring it on him for sure. we got to spring it on him. We definitely just got to roll in the beams.
He just he just said
hey, it's got to be like the drunk guy and the man with the prosthetic leg. That's what it's got to be like. We're just going to roll in the beams, beard flowing.
Which one are you though?
Yes.
Lee, in that situation, which one are you? I want to know.
Wow. Which one I am? Well, I'm not a drinker, man. I don't drink to that point, but some have thought me disabled in many ways. So maybe it's the gentleman with the prosthetic leg.
But see, this is the thing, Lee. Here's the twist. I don't see you getting off that bike, picking yourself back up, and getting on and finishing the race. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I don't think that would happen.
So, I
don't think that would happen.
Awesome.
Yes, Mike, we need to do it. I need to send you a proposal. I need to call Jay. We need to get it worked out. Look, I want to end with this, and I'm going to let you close it, Sam. There's a lot of comparisons to kind of give the idea about what Summit Motorsports Park is, what Norwalk is. I have been both to Las Vegas and Charlotte, ZMAX Dragway. Great facilities, modern facilities. But as great as they are, they have a commercialized feel. It would be like the premium chain restaurant that you go to and you know what you're going to get, and it's fine dining, but it's the same across the board. Norwalk is that fine dining 5-star experience that's family owned. It's not going to change and go anywhere else. It is special in that place. That's what it's like. If you have not been to Norwalk, you out there, put vacation to Ohio. I know that sounds strange, vacation to Ohio, but you need to check this facility out. That's all I got to say, Sam. Close the show down.
Lee, it's on my list to vacation to Norwalk. Not going to try the ice cream because for all you guys out there, it wouldn't be good for my tummy. But it was great having Bill on. He talked about the future of racing. He talked about how we can compare drag racing, motorsports to the stick and ball sports. And that's what we need to continue to do, is talk about what we can do to grow what we love. Monday Morning Racer, that's Lee. check him out. Check out his YouTube channel. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and he is on Twitter. Please go and check him out, Monday Morning Racer. And he has a show every Thursday that is called Between the Slicks. I am Slammin Sam, Outlaw Performance ENT. You can check me out on Instagram and on YouTube. Please go and like and subscribe to both of our channels so you guys can keep up with everything that we talk about in the drag racing and motorsports world. To Bobby Bennett and the Competition Plus magazine, and to the crew out there, we thank you guys for this opportunity, this platform, and to you, the drag racing fans. We appreciate you guys so much. And if you guys have not done already, please email us anytime you have questions who we should bring on the show. That is powerhourct@gmail.com. Again, email us any questions you have or anyone you want to see on the show, powerhourcp@gmail.com. You can listen to all of our shows back on all the major podcast platforms. That is Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and everything else. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to have you guys on. We will see you live from Las Vegas, Lee and I. Until next time, you guys keep smashing that loud pedal. You guys keep telling the great story of motorsports, and we will see you soon next week, Tuesday, the Competition Plus Power Hour. Signing out. Peace.